Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. I'm sorry my voice is slightly raspy. I woke up and it was kind of this way. I'm going to do the story because I think the story is mind-blowing, and I think indie media should be screaming at the top of their lungs about this particular story. And beyond that, I did the story before, but that ended up being like 3 hours, so I kind of want to make it succinct. This deals with the Uranium One deal. Essentially, this idea that Russia, Vladimir Putin, essentially cornered 20% of the United States uranium market, and the deal was approved by the State Department under Obama and everything else. Even though the FBI knew full well that there was corruption, extortion, bribery, all of these illegal behaviors pursuant to this deal taking place, the deal still went through. In that deal going through, people kind of turned their head to the fact that palms were being greased, including the palms of Bill and Hillary Clinton. I'm going to read this story by the Daily Wire because they do a better job of making it succinct, and I kind of want to get to a very particular point. This article is named Report, FBI hid evidence tying Clintons to a Russian bribery scheme. This is not the Daily Wire making it up. This story came out in The Hill. The Hill is run-of-the-mill establishment, and you can get, and that story was in The Hill. Let's talk about flat facts for the moment. I gave you a summary of what this was about. So I'm going to read the story, but flat facts. Hillary Clinton and the Democrats screamed that Vladimir Putin worked to get Donald Trump elected by hacking into the DNC and releasing factual information about Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party. Now, they would say that they weaponize truth, weaponizing reality, where reality is this thing that's being used against you because you did bad things, you said bad things, you didn't necessarily want those bad things to get out into the public consciousness. Too bad, you got it in the public consciousness. Now, more likely than not, Russia didn't necessarily do this hack. It was more of a leak. But whatever, the information is out. But this is the story that the Democratic Party went with. Russia hacked us, and in Russia hacking us, Russia released information showing that we were cheating Bernie Sanders, and that the Democratic Party, for the most part, was immensely corrupt with regards to the money that was taking place in the Clinton Foundation. Now, here's the catch. As they continue to go with this story, I need you to keep this in your head at the exact same time of what they were saying about Russia. Russia is a threat. Vladimir Putin is a threat. Vladimir Putin undermined democracy. Vladimir Putin pulled a skirt down the Lady Liberty. Vladimir Putin did all of these horrible and disgusting things to the United States. We need to upgrade our nuclear capacity to the tune of $1 trillion because Russia is an amazing threat. We got to do this. We don't have a choice but to do this. We need to spend that money. That money is vitally important. And yet, Hillary Clinton was in the State Department. Obama was president. And none of this stuff seemed to be an issue when this deal was going through, because ultimately they gave 20% of the United States uranium to these guys who were supposed to be this Russian menace, this red menace, these guys who were coming to get us and all this other stuff. The story doesn't fly. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't jive. Now, the FBI has all of the details and all of this information on one person after the next involving this particular scheme, including the fact that Bill Clinton was getting his hands greased at the exact same time his wife was in the State Department, and at the exact same time a decision was being made on this deal. So, which one is it? Is Russia this mega threat that we must arm ourselves and spend trillions of dollars to upgrade our nuclear armament capacity? Is that true? Is what Democrats are saying about Russia true? But at the same token, those same Democrats had no issue approving a deal giving 20% of our uranium stores to that supposed red menace, that supposed threat. This is amazing. Now, either you can make a case that says, well, they did think Russia was a threat, but the financial interests mattered more. Fair enough. It's a capitalistic society. There was money to be had. They went to get the money. They didn't necessarily give a shit about the country. That could also be true. Let's read this for the moment, because the bottom part of this is awesome. Because the last paragraph makes their point like nobody else has made that point as a flat fact and just presented out there for the public. Before the Obama administration approved the highly controversial deal in 2010 giving Russia control of approximately 20% of the United States uranium, the FBI had collected a significant amount of evidence that showed Russian officials were engaged in a massive bribery scheme aimed at growing their atomic business inside the United States. Now, this involved bribery, extortion, illegal activity all around. The FBI knew about it. The FBI had people in the like moles in this particular process. The deal still went through. 20% of our uranium stores. According to a Tuesday report from The Hill, the FBI started to gather evidence in 2009 of Russian officials engaged in bribery, kickbacks, extortion, and money laundering. Now, the first decision came when the State Department and other government agencies approved the sale of Canadian mining company Uranium One to Russians Rosneft in October 2010, which gave Russia control of a significant portion of the United States uranium. In 2011, the Obama administration gave approval for Rosneft's Tinex subsidiary to sell uranium to United States nuclear power plants, a significant move as it allowed Tinex to expand its sales, which were heavily restricted under the megatons to megawatts peace program in the 90s. The Russians were compromising American contractors in the nuclear industry with kickbacks and extortion threats, all of which raised legitimate national security concerns, a source who worked on the case told The Hill, speaking on condition of anonymity for fear of retribution by the United States or Russian officials. And none of that evidence got aired before the Obama administration made those decisions. The evidence collected by the FBI directly contradicts prior statements by the Obama administration and Clinton's about the Uranium One deal. Now, the point they're making is they tried to make it as if essentially they were trying to justify the decision of selling 20% of the United States uranium stores. The Obama administration and Clinton's defended their actions at the time, and this is The Hill, insisting there was no evidence that any Russians or donors engaged in wrongdoing and that there is no national security reason for any member of the committee to oppose the Uranium One deal. Think about what's being said there. Understand how that comports with reality. Uranium, I would imagine, would be a vested security interest of any particular state, of any particular country. The FBI, going back to 2009, understood that there was illegal behavior going on with regards to how Russia was cornering the market for uranium in the United States. But again, the Obama administration and the Clintons defended their actions at the time, insisting there was no evidence that any Russians or donor engaged in wrongdoing. Now, is this incompetence or is this lying? Both of those are bad. It doesn't matter which it is. Hell, add corruption to the mix. All three of those things are bad. But FBI Energy Department and court documents reviewed by The Hill show that the FBI in fact had gathered substantial evidence well before the committee's decision that Vadim Mikorin, the main Russian overseeing Putin's nuclear expansion inside the United States, was engaged in wrongdoing starting in 2009. Is it corruption? Is it incompetence? Yeah, is it corruption or is it incompetence? Which one? Which one? Then Attorney General Eric Holder was among the Obama administration officials joining Hillary Clinton on the Committee of Foreign Investment in the United States at the time of the Uranium One deal was approved. Multiple current and former government officials told The Hill they did not know whether the FBI or the Department of Justice ever alerted committee members to the criminal activity being uncovered. Is it incompetence? Is it corruption? Pick your pony. Both of those things are bad. Both of those things are bad. Or again, were they lying? I guess that falls under incompetence. This is the awesome paragraph. After the Uranium One deal was approved, Uranium One's chairman donated $2.35 million to the Clinton Foundation. You don't say! You don't say! Bill Clinton also appeared to have benefited financially as he received $500,000 for a speech he gave in Moscow shortly after Rosneft made the announcement that they were taking control of Uranium One. That $500,000 is going in his pocket, by the way, because that's a speech. Whatever Bill Clinton did and mustered up his energies to have a speech worth $500,000, that's called a bribe. Any normal thinking, functioning human being looks at this and says they sold off 20% of the United States uranium stores at the exact same time Hillary Clinton was in the State Department making a choice on that. Immediately after that, $2.35 million found its way into the Clinton Foundation as a thank you note from Vladimir Putin. And then another $500,000 for a speech. That is an amazing fucking speech if you're getting $500,000. That just so happened to coincide with the deal that your wife made while she was in the State Department. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? How is this not a bombshell? That's all I'm saying. How is this not a bombshell? The FBI understood what was taking place. Now look, the corruption thing and everything else, meaning incompetence, potentially. Putting $500,000 in Bill Clinton's G-string is not incompetence. There's no other way to see that other than corruption. The Clinton Foundation getting $2.35 million. That's not incompetence. That's something else. Thank you for the deal that your wife made. Here's money into your foundation, and here's a little something for you. I suspect there was hookers in that, but that's not in the article. That's not in the article. So I'm not gonna belabor this one because I need to go and I can't stay too long on it. I just wanted to be very specific and succinct with what's wrong with this story, and the idea that they tucked this under the rug when the story was reported before. They did bring up this deal, by the way, during the primaries, but it didn't necessarily get the gravity that it's getting now. And the amazing part about it is I've heard people say, oh, that didn't take place. That didn't take place. It did take place. She was being bribed. If you know, they continuously axe on the campaign trail, what is evidence that Hillary Clinton was being bribed? Give us a case. Give us a case. How about this one? You being in the State Department, you being on a committee that's making a determination on whether to give 20% of the United States uranium reserves to Russia, somebody who you say is a threat, is trying to undermine this country, is trying to take over this country in some way, is this destabilizing force in the world that cost you the election, that's pushing WikiLeaks, that's doing all of this stuff around the world. They weren't that bad off when they were stuffing $500,000 in your husband's pocket. Nor were they bad off where they were putting $2 million in your campaign or in your foundation. It's amazing. It's fucking amazing. Absolutely amazing. Alright, I'm gonna kill this. I have one more after this, so if I am not stopping to take comments like I normally do, it's because I'm short of time. Yeah, the story's amazing. Alright guys, if you enjoy the content, feel free to share, like, or write, or subscribe. And you guys have a good day. Bye-bye.